When I discovered my husband's affair, I didn't scream. I didn't throw things or beg him to stay. Instead, I simply packed my suitcase in silence. I left behind the apartment, the wedding photos on the wall, even the smell of his cologne that lingered on the pillows. Something in me had already died the moment I found the evidence. The lipstick on his shirt, the late-night texts he forgot to delete. There was no point in a funeral for what was already gone. A week later, exhausted and sleepless, I found myself standing in the lobby of an old hotel on the city's outskirts. The place looked like it hadn't been renovated in decades. Faded carpets, heavy chandeliers, coated in dust. A silence that didn't belong in a building filled with people. The receptionist, a gaunt man with pale eyes, slid a brass key across the counter. "Rooms available," he said with an odd half-smile. Then almost conspiratorially, he added, "13th floor. Elevator doesn't go there. Stairs only." I stared at him, waiting for some kind of joke. He didn't blink. I nodded, pocketed the key, and started climbing. The staircase was endless. I lost count after the 10th floor. My legs ached, breath coming sharp and shallow. Each landing looked the same. Peeling wallpaper, dim lights flickering overhead. By the time I reached the corridor at the top, I wasn't sure if I had climbed for 10 minutes or an eternity. The hallway stretched unnaturally long, with doors lined up on either side like soldiers, all identical, all closed. My room was at the very end, the key fitting perfectly into the last door. The moment I stepped inside, something felt wrong. The room smelled of perfume I didn't own, sweet, cloying, suffocating. On the desk stood a half-full glass of red wine, droplets sliding lazily down its side. A man's shirt hung carelessly over the arm of a chair. My husband's shirt. My stomach clenched. "Housekeeping mistake," I whispered to myself. But then I heard it. Laughter. His laughter. The laugh I once loved. The laugh I had memorized so well I could recognize it in a crowd of thousands. It came from the bathroom. I pushed the door open, and there he was, my husband, shirtless, with a woman whose face blurred, as though the mirror refused to hold her reflection. She leaned against him, whispering something I couldn't make out. He looked right through me, eyes fixed on the phantom in his arms. "Did you at least tell your wife?" the woman asked, her voice echoing unnaturally, deep and hollow, like it came from underground. He smirked. "What wife?" "She's dead." A year ago, I felt the floor tilt. My hands trembled, searching for something solid to hold on to, but there was nothing. Dead. He had said it so casually, as if it were a fact, as if my life had been neatly filed away like an old document. I tried to shout, to demand an explanation, but no sound came out. My throat burned with silence. That's when I saw the mirror. Words appeared across the glass, scratched from the inside, glowing faintly. "Welcome home, guest. Betrayal is always fatal." The letters pulsed like veins, and I couldn't look away. Then he turned. His eyes met mine for the first time, and the smirk vanished. His face contorted, twisted in horror. He stumbled backward, whispering my name like a prayer, or maybe a curse. And in that moment, clarity struck me harder than grief ever had. He hadn't lied. I really had died. Not physically, perhaps. But the day he betrayed me, something essential, my heart, my soul, my place in this world, had ceased to exist. The woman who once loved him had been buried without ceremony. Now I stood before him again, not alive, not dead, but something in between, a reflection, a shadow, a guest in a hotel that should not exist. The woman at his side laughed again, and this time her face sharpened in the mirror. For a fleeting second, I saw myself, or what was left of me. The glass of wine on the desk toppled over, spilling red across the floorboards, like blood. He kept whispering my name, but there was no salvation in his voice. He had crossed the line the day he denied me, the day he erased me from his story. And now here we were, together again, on the 13th floor, where check-in is, one way only,